Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very well. This is a video on why Enzo Maresca should be sacked. 5 reasons why he should be sacked. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but I'm going to give you 5 reasons anyway to justify why that decision would make sense if it were to happen. So let's get started. Number one, and this is in no particular order, by the way. Okay, number one is the things that Enzo Maresca says in the press and the way he communicates with the fans and just his skills, his communication skills, which I think has been very, very disappointing, especially in recent weeks. For me, that's been one of the biggest downfalls of Maresca is the way he talks and his inability to be able to communicate properly with the fan base to keep them on side and show that he is pushing for Chelsea to be a top club and remain a top team. His accountability, the way he speaks about games after they've happened, if we've dropped points, why did we drop points? And, is he making a lot of excuses? I'm going to give you a couple of examples as well, because it's much easier if I can show you. This is after Brentford.
Tricky stadium, tricky game, sunny day. The pitch was dry. They tried to kill the tempo of the game. So for me, it was a complete game. But overall, as I said, I think we did enough to win the game. We shot more than 20 times. And probably the only thing we missed has been the goal. But overall, happy with the performance.
So he was happy with the performance after a 0-0 draw against Brentford, just because we shot over 20 times. Like, that's great, isn't it? Doesn't matter where you shoot from, we shot. Didn't even speak about on target. That's one example. I'll give you another one as well from his recent press conference after Ipswich. He basically blamed the fans and the environment of the fans in Stamford Bridge as one of the reasons that things didn't go away.
In Champions League spot, I think we are going to win games, but at the same time we are going to drop points because it's normal. For sure, probably today you don't expect to drop points, especially in the way you start the game, because in the way we start again was, I think for all of us, was just matter of when they're gonna score. But then we concede the goal and completely change all the dynamic of the game.
Tom.
So that wasn't the clip of him blaming the fans for the environment. But you can see the quote is, "We conceded because of the environment." He did say that. And he proceeds to talk about, just dropping points isn't supposed to be normal at Chelsea when you're competing for top 4 at the end of the season. It's supposed to be, we are trying to win all the games. We're here to win all the games. That's what we want to do. That's what we're going to do. Now, will it happen? Probably not. I'm sure you won't win every single game, but you can. And it wouldn't even surprise me if Chelsea were to do that. We've been on many, many runs of winning 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 matches in a row. It's happened. So is it such a shock for me to see that happen at Chelsea again? Like, it shouldn't be, but I think it would be, because we're not going in that direction under this manager. He doesn't inspire any confidence with the way he speaks. And if we don't feel confident as a fan base with what he's saying, and he could dress everything up in the press conferences, how do the players feel playing for him? Like, how does he motivate them? There's a lot of fans, they don't necessarily think that the players are trying. I personally do think the players are trying. That's not one of my reasons that I'll get rid of Maresca. I don't think that's an issue. But, I don't know. Like, how he can't communicate with us. So is he communicating well enough with the players? Which leads me on to my second point, which is the style of play. Maresca was brought in to play a very specific style of football, and we were all fully aware of that. Leicester won the league with Maresca playing a certain style of play. They had a good start, and then things dropped off. A bit like what's happening with Chelsea at the moment. I think they had a 19-point lead, and they only won the championship by a couple of points. So they let many, many points slip. They could have had a comfortable lead at the top. It ended up being quite close. And the style of play was one of the things that Leicester fans didn't enjoy. They did not enjoy the slow, lethargic, possession-based football, which is not direct whatsoever. I mean, it's literally a case of keeping the ball for the sake of keeping the ball. And possession is important in some respects. Like, we've had managers in the past that like to play out I think Tuchel liked to pass out from the back. Maurizio Sarri was insistent on going short on every goal kick, always going short. But when we look at the style of play, even Sarri, who was quite an extreme manager, like we saw what he did at Napoli, we saw the beautiful football. That's another reason why you would have trusted him when he come in, because you've seen what he's built at other clubs. Okay, and this brings me on to my next point. Just to be clear, when we talk about the style of play, match-going fans have absolutely had it with this manager. They've had it. He's lost the fans. He has absolutely lost the fans that are going to the games. There is no match-going fans that support this manager. Not that I speak to anyway. And I'd like to think I speak to a fair few fans. But I think it's mostly the fans that are watching from home. If there are any that still support Maresca, they are the ones that do it, because the match-going fans spend all this money. They get ripped off, to go to these games and watch piss-poor performances. And then you have opportunities when you can easily counter-attack or go long, and we always pass short, sideways, or backwards. And I just think to myself, it's the least inspiring style of play to get the fans in the stadium on side and bring up that adrenaline and that atmosphere. That is not the style that you want. You need to be more direct. Like we did play good football at the beginning of the season, there's no doubt, but it almost feels like that was before Maresca actually managed to properly coach the system into the players. And now that his system has been well and truly implemented, the execution is just not there whatsoever. And that tells me that it's a systematic problem, because what we're doing now is totally different to what we did at the beginning of the season in a lot of ways. Number one is we're not getting results. Number two is it's not entertaining. And that's a real concern for me. Moving on, this is probably the first thing that I ever thought of that made me consider, why I would back this manager. And this is plain and obvious. It's so simple. Robert Sanchez, the worst goalkeeper that I've seen at Chelsea ever in my lifetime. The worst goalkeeper I've ever seen. The worst goalkeeper in the Premier League at the moment. He wasn't even Brighton's first choice keeper when we bought him. We have so many goalkeepers at this club. We are stacked to the core. We have options upon options upon options upon loanees, upon young players, potential prodigies. And we decide to start Robert Sanchez because he has the potential to be world-class, quote unquote. He's 27 years old. He's closer to 30 than he is to 20. And you still use the word potential to describe Robert Sanchez. I'm sorry. I mean, that's a recruitment problem. You should have never bought the guy, and that's a disgrace in itself. But the fact that Maresca actually chooses this guy is even more criminal than anything I could describe, because you have options, my friend, and you have decided not to use them. You even had the opportunity to drop Robert Sanchez, and he did it, to the credit that I gave Maresca, only to bottle it again and bring Sanchez back into the fold. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Jorgensen played well when he came into the team. He didn't have a great spell, but he deserved more of a chance than what he was given. And I think that to bring Sanchez into the fold so quickly, I think that was the wrong move. If Jorgensen was still in goal and still making mistakes, people could probably understand why Sanchez come back into the fold. But because it was such a quick change, that shows a lack of conviction from the manager, in my opinion. And that shows he just doesn't know what he's doing. Like, forget systems, forget anything else. If you can't pick a goalkeeper as a manager, you are not capable of running a football club, let alone Chelsea Football Club. It's the most basic thing. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. You don't even need to understand football that much. What are goalkeepers supposed to do? Prevent shots and basically make the back line feel safe. Sanchez does none of those things. He's not a good shot stopper. I mean, he's made some good saves, okay, but I could list a number of games where he's disappointed us. Liverpool, United, Arsenal letting Martinelli's near post goal. Brighton, 2 goals because of Sanchez mistakes. One of them was not distribution. One of them was his goalkeeping ability, his ability to punch or catch the ball. So, he just doesn't make good decisions, and rightly so. I mean, the manager doesn't make good decisions either. So that is my number one frustration. I don't know how you can keep playing Robert Sanchez. And I actually think that Maresca had a say in sending Petrovic to Strasbourg as well. I don't think that you wouldn't have a say in that, especially considering he was our number one under Pochettino. Sanchez got dropped for Petrovic, and then Petrovic was shipped off to Strasbourg, and we're stuck with this guy. So Petrovic has to come back into the fold next season, no doubt in my mind. So listen, I've named three reasons. Reason number 4 is the CV. Okay, now CV isn't everything, but it's something. Why, Alex? Why are you talking about a CV? Why can't we just look at what we're seeing on the pitch at the moment? Because with a lot of the managers that we've had, we've been able to look back at their careers and justify why we should be patient with those managers. Not that we were, but we could justify it if we wanted to, because of what they've achieved at other clubs. If you look at Tuchel, you could see what he achieved at PSG, Dortmund. If you look at Mourinho, you can see what he's done with us. You can see what he's done with Madrid, Inter Milan, all these teams. Sarri, what he done at Napoli, Conte, what he did in Italy. I mean, the list goes on. We've had Carlo Ancelotti, one of the best managers of all time. We can look back at these managers and appreciate sometimes there's a transition. Like, especially the situation we're in at the moment, I think any manager that comes in, you could probably back. And if Jurgen Klopp was at the helm, or another manager who's good at building clubs, over the period of a couple of years, maybe I could get behind it. What do I see with Maresca's CV? I see a failed manager. I see a manager who couldn't cut it at Parma, had to go back to Man City to learn under Pep because clearly didn't know what he was doing. Had one season at Leicester and then left. One season at Leicester, and that qualifies this man for the Chelsea job. You're telling me that any manager that wins the championship is capable of running Chelsea Football Club as a manager, as a gaffer, picking our starting 11s, making key decisions that impact our season and the future of this football club. By that logic, if Leeds get promoted, Daniel Farke should get the job. Like, what is the logic behind bringing this manager in the first place? Well, I know we all know the logic. He's a yes man, number one. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But there has to be more to it, surely. Like, what are they seeing that I'm not seeing with Enzo Maresca? Because the style of play has been poor. His communication has been poor. His decision-making has been poor. And he has no experience to lean on. We have nothing to trust because we've never seen him achieve anything. I mean, it's criminal, guys. I don't understand it. The mentality that this manager brings is not solely on Maresca either. Like, this is a problem from the top, and it trickles down. This is an ownership issue with Clearlake, with Bowley. They're not prioritizing winning. We are here to win. I'm all for patience. I've been very patient. If you watch this channel for a long time, I was patient last season. I was patient the year before. The year before was a horrible season to watch Chelsea, but it's part of the process sometimes. Sometimes you have to knock things down before you can build them back up. But we ripped the heart and soul out of Chelsea, and now we're stuck with a man who ultimately accepts where we are. And if he accepts where we are, Enzo Maresca, that's because the sporting directors accept it, because the ownership accepts it. And then they're asking us to accept it. This boring, life-sucking, soulless football. I mean, not to, like, he plays players out of position as well. Like, tactically, he makes some very questionable decisions. Like, I really struggle to find anything to back up Maresca. Like, my final point is his inability to improve the team as a whole and individuals. If you look at our best players last season, where are they this season? Who has he improved? How has he improved them? I could name a handful of players. There are players that have improved under Enzo Maresca. Enzo Fernandez has improved. Caicedo's been fantastic. Cucurella's, been very good. Mudryk, when he was fit. I mean, I'm really pulling strings there. Maybe Madueke. I'll give you 5. That's me being very generous as well, including Mudryk in that. and Cucurella was pretty good last season. So, you know, it's really difficult. Like I look at our best players. I look at Palmer. I think that Palmer has got worse under this manager. I think this manager's system has put Palmer in a position where he's constantly overcrowded in the middle of the pitch. He's constantly been marked by one or two players. There's no space for him to operate. He's clearly better on the right wing as a right forward, whatever you want to call it, like we played under Pochettino last season. That's one player that can win us matches that's not really allowed to do it because of the system he plays in. He's now in a position where he has to be a creator more so than a goal scorer. And that's great, but who's finishing the chances? Because I don't see many finishers at Chelsea at the moment. We're obviously going to invest in a striker in the summer. So that's one player. Malagusto, another player that's gone missing. I hate the way he's been managed. He was so good last season. Nicholas Jackson has not improved under this manager. He's plateaued. He's not been bad. He's one of our best players in terms of his position. He's a key player for us, but he has not improved. I'm talking about improvement. None of our defenders have improved. Our goalkeeping situations got worse. So I struggle to see where Maresca's improving us. I don't think he's improving players individually. I don't think he's improving us as a team. He's not giving us a morale as a fan base, a reason to back this club. He's not got the fans on side. He certainly hasn't got me on side. Let me know in the comments what you think. The style of play is boring to watch. We're not getting results. We're regressing this season. We had a great start. We're having a poor finish. It looks like Champions League is over. And he doesn't even know how to pick a goalkeeper. So, you know, those are a few reasons why I think Enzo Maresca should be sacked. And honestly, I've been going on for about 17 minutes. I could go on for 70 because this manager just gets on my nerves. Yeah, he gets on my nerves. And ultimately, the frustrating thing as well is that making this video, I'm fully aware he's not going to get sacked. But I am justifying why he should be. And if anyone has any standards at this football club, maybe it will happen, but I don't see it. I really don't see it. But let me know what you think, guys. Do you agree or disagree with anything I've said? Yeah, all the best, guys.